All right, I'm gonna get off my chest. I'm kind of new to this whole art community thing online, right? I started drawing when I was 22, so I'm a bit older and I'm a bit less experienced than like everyone who's drawn when they were like 11. It's been great. It's really hard, but I enjoy doing it, and I've enjoyed how far I've come with it, and those I've met also doing it. It's been a really cool experience. And for anyone who like draws as much as they can, they take breaks, they get inspired, try new things, like they acknowledge their flaws, but they still press on anyway to get better. Like that's fantastic. I commend you. Like let's keep doing that. Let's keep the energy up. You support each other. Like that's great. But for some of y'all, these damn excuses, um, you know, it's like I get art is hard. Art is extremely hard, and like the whole idea of being a creative, where like you have an idea in your head and you want to put it on paper or it's on a canvas or even clay or video format, like, and you don't have the skill yet, you don't have the experience yet to do it to the point that it's like to scale you want it to, like it's frustrating, it's heart-wrenching, it's hard, like it doesn't make you want to do it again. Like I completely vibe with that. I get it. Like it's hard. It's so hard. But oh my gosh, like these, like the art style conversation, the art block conversation, the follower count, subscriber, like all these excuses not to draw or not to practice or to tell me why you can't draw or why you cannot get better. It's like, bro, stop. It's like, stop, man. Um, it like the first thing is like the art block thing. Like, look, I get it. I think I understand I never had art block a day in my life. I've been drawing very consistently for at least 2 years now. You can look at my posts, you can look at my streams. I draw all the time. I have sketchbooks on sketchbooks on sketchbooks. I have at least 9 finished 300-page whatever sketchbooks. I like to draw. It's fun. Like I don't draw well all the time, but that's fine. Like I like the act of like struggling to do something well and then eventually being able to do that thing well, just by trying your best. Like that's how it works. Yeah, sometimes it's demotivating when I put in like 4 hours in an art piece. I end up deleting because it sucks. That's just how it goes, right? But like the whole art block thing, I'm like, look, I completely understand like not wanting to illustrate. That's fine. Like I think that there's been times where like I spent weeks not doing it. Or like when I first started drawing, like when I was like 20 something, I didn't do it for like a year or two after I practiced for a little while. Like I just didn't want to do it. I just didn't feel like doing it. I liked creativity. I wanted to be someone who could draw better, but like I took a break because I was like, I'm just not really into this right now, or like I'm just too like demotivated from my current skill at the moment. So, but like at no point would I say like someone is telling me I can't draw. Like my mind is telling me I can't do it. Like I don't have the tools, the techniques. I'm like, okay, well, that's always going to be the case all the time. Like you can always make an excuse not to draw or not to illustrate or whatever. Like there's a lot of things I don't really like to do that I want to get better at, but like it's the path to getting better is really hard. Like even with online college right now, like I'm taking C++ and like stats. And I want to be good at those said things. I want to program well. I want to be able to do math well. Um, but I wouldn't necessarily say I have stat block or C++ block when it's hard or I don't want to do it. It's like I just want to I all I can do is do it more to get better at it. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm not gonna say like the more you do it, the better you get all the time. That's not true. But every step I take is a step forward to like understanding. So to just like to put a limiter on your mind saying that like we cannot do this activity because like we're not good at it or we're not like going to do it well or like what's the point? It's like, look, it's not that deep, right? No one's expecting you to be the best creative of all time. Like relax. Like you just started. Or even if you've been doing it for 10 years and you feel like you aren't where you're supposed to be, like okay, well you can only get to where you're supposed to be by continuing to do it. And again, if you need to take a break, if you need to focus on your diet, your relationships, like I that's really important because it's hard to for anybody to like really focus on their passions and like their hobbies and things they want to get better at when they're not in a place where like they feel comfortable to do it all the time, right? So if like you're forcing yourself to draw every single day, but like, you're worried about like school, or you're worried about your relationships or money or whatever. It's like, well, maybe like the reason why like you're not really feeling that activity is because like you're out of balance, like this isn't the thing. Yeah, it's something that you enjoy doing, but like it only in a certain context doesn't work. So like, even like trying to force yourself through it, it's like, look, I think it's a time to take a step back and look around, seeing like what's going on with you. Like, take a reality check, like get a grip, like what's going on. So like, because people ask me like, how do I not have art block? How can I draw so long or so much? It's like, because I enjoy drawing and I make sure like I get enough sleep. I make sure I continue working on my career that's not art. It's like like you need it's. I think art block is more of like a, you're unmotivated or you're uninspired, which I've also felt too. Like I've been very uninspired for long periods of time. Like I don't know what to draw. Like I don't know. Every time I draw a line, it feels wrong. I gotta draw the same circle a million times to get like the right face shape or whatever. It's like, when you start like being a perfectionist because you feel like this time you do put to drawing needs to be like perfect, it's like it's gonna get really difficult really fast. So I feel like this art block thing, that I feel like usually with a younger audience, this is a thing where I feel like when I draw on like Magma or draw on stream, people are like, people who mention art block as if it's like an entity that's stopping you from doing something, like it's tying your hands behind your back. It's like, I think it's more of like the more you give it power, the stronger it is. You know what I mean? Like if you like tell yourself you physically can't do something, you kind of just can't. You know what I mean? So like art block is like, I'm not saying it's not like a strong factor, but I think it's just more of like an indicate, like a symptom of something that's like more intrinsic that you maybe you should be working on. I don't think like forcing yourself through it or never drawing again is the answer. And I think that like we give, as an artist in general, we give art block way too much power. And I feel like if we just like hang out in the right communities, or we like take it one thing at a time, or take a break, I think we could probably overcome it a lot faster. uh and like another thing too, art style, like people ask me where do I get my art style, or like people work on their art styles, and oh, that's a cool style. And then people are like, oh, how do you like cultivate it, like what did you like do to like, I want to draw in that same style. It's kind of like, I think being inspired, like for me, like when I first really started getting art, I read God of High School on Webtoons, right? And it best art I've ever seen, at least at the time. I played League of Legends. Like League of Legends splash art is like a whole nother animal. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's so impressive. Like it's unbelievable that people can draw like that, and they can just keep pumping it out. But of course, it takes like months and months of time to make one image. But like, it's it's wonderful. It's so good. And then people can ask you like, oh, like, how do I get that specific style? It's like, I don't think, like, the problem with art style though, especially if you're like, I will only draw in like the Codename Kids Next Door art style, or the South Park style, or like the Minhua style. It's like, I think having a type of style is perfectly normal, because like it's just, that's just the way you draw. That's the way you process things. That's like how you like to visually have, that's like your favorite visual aesthetic. Like style is something that comes naturally, right? It's kind of like handwriting. It's like, you know it's like if I ask you, how do you like, why do you write the way you do, like we're all writing the same language or whatever the case is, and yours looks different than mine. It's kind of like, oh, if I ask you how do you draw, or how do you write like that, it's like you don't really know. It's just kind of something you do. Like, yeah, you may have been inspired by your teacher or your classmate or whatever, your older brother or younger sister, but like, it's just something that you do. It's just how you operate. Same thing with art, same thing with creative endeavors. It's like, you can draw something in the same style as someone else, but it's always gonna be a little bit different just because you're a different person. Like you have different experiences, different perspectives, and like that's what we want to see. We don't want to live in a world where like everyone does something the exact same way, because like like it's, of course, like you can be like, oh, this is like the technical perfection of this art style. This is like the technical perfect manga style, or realism style, or abstract style. But it's like, well, what kind of world is that? Like the reason why it's cool to share your art is because we're all different. We all get to see the same image drawn different ways. Like if you ask me to draw a tree, and my neighbor to draw a tree, and my you know co artists to draw a tree, we're all gonna do it differently because we're all different people. Like that's the beauty of art and sharing art with others. So to be very like, and also along with that, to be like, you can't take my style. It's like, look, especially, okay, this is like if you make a tutorial video and people start drawing in your style, that's and you get upset about that, you're a clown. Please stop. That's silly. But also it's like again, like first, like we should always be motivating people to draw in general. And it might just be for a phase. Someone draws in your quote unquote style that you, I guess, copyright claimed or something. I don't know. But if someone draws in your style, it's like, okay, well, it may be kind of weird. And like, if it's like so weird to like, no one can tell it's like pixel perfect, like, okay, I guess maybe. But again, it's like, what are you scared of? Like, you're doing well, and like someone else is also doing well. And I'm not talking about tracing. I'm not talking about like someone's using your art to generate more art. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like specifically someone's taking heavy inspiration from your style. It's like, if you're, I guess if we're talking about like profits, okay, maybe there's a discussion there, but it's like you don't own a style. And again, even if they draw it the exact same way you do, it's still not gonna be the same. Like there's just no way. Like we can't do it. Like unless you're tracing one for one, like bar for bar, it's like, you know, it's still gonna be their art style in a way. That's just kind of how it goes, right? Um, and also it's like, you know, it's odd when that insecurity hits really hard, where it's like, we both drawn a jelly art style, and this person does it, and now like you feel like your art isn't validated because they're also doing it. It's like that's not like I don't think it's that deep, right? Like you should always be proud of what you do. And there are probably like, especially nowadays, I'm like every time you post online, like it's gonna get scraped by somebody somewhere. Someone's probably tracing, like they could be across the seas, you would never know. Like if you're trying to like have no one ever take your art ever, like online, it's like give up. Like you might as well just like never post online. Like there's no like you can't keep your stuff. That's just how it is. It's kind of always been like that, but especially nowadays, it's kind of like, look, we're in a different world. So if you're gonna draw and be public about it, then you just kind of accept that like someone's probably gonna take heavy inspiration from it and or literally just take it. But to not draw because of that, it's a personal choice, of course. But I don't think that should be the one thing that's like I would never draw again because people could be taking my style. It's like, bro, like it's such a creative intrinsic journey to illustrate that like it's such a shame that like we would lose artists solely because they feel like they're invalidated due to people taking their art. It's like you're so much more than that, and there's so many more people who are inspired by what you do, no matter what the circumstances. That like it's a shame that like you may be in an echo chamber where like you feel like your art is useless or like purposeless. Like that's just not true. And I hope that like we can catch people before they make actions like that, and like you're like, hey, like maybe you can post in these smaller circles of time or smaller circles of like communities and stuff. But I feel like this whole art style conversation is also another thing too. If you draw in the same art style all the time and you are curious as to why you don't make technical improvements, it's kind of like, well, if the art style intrinsically is going to be you're going to make specific flaws that make the art style work, right? You're going to draw the eyes a bit bigger, you're going to draw the torso a bit smaller, or you're going to always kind of have a similar composition to whatever. It's like that's fine and dandy, especially for like say you do commissions, right? You draw in this specific style because you're really good at that, or that's like just your favorite way to draw. That's fine. And if that's like all you want to do with that, that's perfectly fine. But I feel like sometimes people will kind of like run into like a wall nonstop because like they they rob themselves of trying new things, right? Like trying to paint or trying to color when you're not someone who renders a lot, or trying to do more line art with more personality, or like just trying a whole different cartoon style in general. It's like it's gonna be really hard. Like it's gonna be very challenging to change your style, or to even like just style study for that matter. Because everyone does something a different way. You know what I mean? So like, but if you don't and you always draw in the same proportions and the same type of characters all the time, being surprised that you are stagnant for a long time is quite like it's odd when people are like, I just don't understand, like what's going on. I'm like, what do you mean? Like you're doing this, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. Like I don't understand. Like, but again, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But if that's not what you want to do, you gotta be honest and being like, hey, I am purposely not challenging myself because I don't really want to struggle in art. And the price you have to pay is you won't grow nearly as fast as someone who is actively pursuing styles that they don't often do. You know what I mean? And for them, they're gonna have a long ugly phase, but once they start getting their refined style while incorporating all the things they've learned, they're gonna be very baller at art. And while you may have been comfortable and lacked a lot of the struggle they went through, you're gonna be stagnant, and then you're gonna be maybe upset that they're much farther along in their training. And again, we're all on the same road, but it's just kind of how fast you want to get to where you're at, right? And I think everyone's got different goals, right? I don't think everyone needs to be a cartoonist or realistic or an animator. It just depends on what you're trying to do, right? So I think trying to compare journeys is also very ineffective, right? I think that I think it's perfectly fine to be intimidated by artists who have drawn the same amount of time you have, but like again, they could get stagnant later on down the road. If you continue drawing and practicing, you will get much further along. It doesn't really matter. Like you just kind of have to keep doing it and keep honestly trying your best, and you'll always end up to where you're supposed to. Like whatever art goal you have, you will just achieve it if you just keep practicing. You gotta keep taking steps, right? So I think being jealous and trying to sabotage them or yourself or just those around you, trying to put people down or trying to like critique heavily, it's like, look, if you're not focusing on your own thing, it's kind of like, what do you're just kind of like a menace. You know what I mean? Like you're like a pest. Like stop. Just do your thing, man. Like, and encourage those who are trying. And of course, if someone's drawing something offensive or something that's like obviously not correct, it's like, okay, maybe raise the alarm there. But it's like if they're just really good and you want to be like them, then you got to then put in the work. Like what do you mean, dog, man? Like that's crazy to me. Uh, Another thing on my list, talent. I hate that word. I don't think talent exists. I think that yes, I do think that like if you have a longer body, maybe you're gonna be you have a better chance at being a basketball player who's skilled, right? If you are like 5'2" and you are like a gifted baller, like you can do anything you want, like you can dunk on everybody, like whatever. It's gonna be versus someone who's like 7'3". It's like you can do it, you can do it, but the effort you're gonna put in is gonna be like quadruple times of one who's like 7'3", simply just because of the way you're built. So I will say there's always gonna be like maybe a plus or minus of like propensity to be great. But again, it's like the whole conversation of like, uh, does talent beat practice? And the answer is no. Someone like you can be like, well, he's an Olympian, he's 7'5". I'm like, he's still an Olympian. He goes through Olympian practice. You know what I mean? Like he practices or they practice a lot, a lot, a lot, right? Um, and if you don't like if you can like understand, let's say you have photographic memory, right? So it's like, oh, theoretically they can be the best artists of all time. It's like there's still a plethora of techniques that make art great. That isn't just like I memorize what this car looks like. It's like you still need to understand shading and lighting and like why it works. Like just seeing an image, like you can try it right now, draw one for one on like with image from Pinterest, right? It's like you can't just unless you're tracing or like just taking every pixel and putting it down. Like that's not how this works. Like you still have to develop the skill and practice of whatever medium you choose to use to achieve the actual vision that you want. And it's not. I think sometimes we like get down on ourselves of like, oh, I can't. I'm not. I didn't start when I was younger. I didn't start when I was older. I didn't study no. I didn't go to art college. Blah blah blah. It's like, look, you gotta just take what you have and then make it great. That's the same case with everybody. And the only difference between a good artist and a average artist is the those who just stay on the road longer, right? If you practice and you gain more experience through practice and you continue trying new things, you will eventually be the artist you want to become. That's just how it works. Doesn't matter, and you might get a little head start, you might lag behind in the beginning, but it doesn't matter. It's all about the marathon that you run, and eventually you'll get there, and then you're good. You know, there's no need to be so tough on yourself all the time, and it's perfectly fine to express frustration and lack of community or validation. Like those are all very normal feelings that every creative feels ever. It's okay to express that you aren't comfortable or that you're tired or that you even want to take a break for a while. It's fine. And like I think that sometimes when we feel these feelings, we feel like, oh, am I just not an artist? Or oh, like maybe I'm just not good enough, or oh, like I'm not as good as this kid that drew the Mona Lisa on his IBS whatever with his finger. Like look, there's always gonna be someone better than you, always. And then like even like Kim Jong Gi, rest in peace. Like again, there were artists better than him. It like And again, it's all subjective. So it's like no matter how many times you say, "Oh, he's better than me," it's like, okay, well, like in terms of what? Like, are they just more experienced than you in your art style, or like, are you like, what do you mean better? You know what I mean? I think it's all just a construct. It's all just a way that we keep each other down. Um, I just think that like, especially following like a lot of the art community discourse online, I feel like now I'm not someone who uses social media often. Of course, like I'll post on like my own like YouTube as much as I can because I enjoy sharing my art with my art mutuals, I guess. But it's not. It's. I think we put too much energy into discussing the validation of art. I do think that like if we had like for me personally, I had to sacrifice my gaming to be a good artist, right? I For me, I played a lot of League of Legends like 4 years ago. Like that was like my go-to activity. Like if anyone says I don't have time to make art, I'm like, don't talk to me. Like you have time. Every time you scroll on your whatever, like you have sketch pads, notepads, like you have time to draw. Everyone's got time to draw. I'm a full grown man. I am married. I got like I'm a full time engineer. Like I used to be in the military. Like there's always time to draw. It's just what's important to you right now. And for me, sometimes even these days, I can't draw or I don't really have time to like. I feel like I'd rather put more time into cooking food for my wife than to draw, right? But I still have time to draw. Like I had to just make that choice, right? So for me, I had to make the choice to sacrifice any time I would give to gaming. I will give like 90% of it to art, right? And I think when I made that choice, my art skills became much, much more. They got exponentially better over time. So like, I think that it's hard to find time, but just like anything else you want to do in life, you kind of just have to do it. Like, if you like to game, it's not like you have to find time to play games. Like, you'll kind of just always there'll always be time to play games. The same thing with art. It's like you're not, nothing's gonna like give you time to make art. You have to just make it a priority, which is hard, especially when it's like a difficult thing to do for you at certain times in life. Like, it's not easy. Um, I got distracted. No, but the art discourse online, I feel like a lot of it is very I can only bank this on like it's probably because a lot of people are very young, right? I think a lot of like more established artists or older artists or even artists who are just more recluse. I don't think like they deal with like half the things I've been seeing online, where it's like it's the same thing like with the art style and just like the did he trace, does she trace? Are they using AI? Like AI is another thing too. Like I think again, AI, the whole conversation with AI is like, if AI is a thing that's gonna make you stop drawing, is you're probably just looking for an excuse anyway. Like I have been drawing this long. I have never made $1 off art. I would like to make $1 off art. I would like to do it part time or get a commission, but like first I didn't like feel confident in my skills for a long time. I only just recently started. And two, it's like but if you're gonna say like, well, AI makes amazing art, so like, what's the point of even starting? It's like that's not the like. Yes, technically speaking, like you can argue that if you can't make perfect art, you can't make money making art. I get that, but also the reason why we like a lot of art is because it's imperfect in nature. You know what I mean? Like that's why when you look at most AI images, it's easily well, of course it gets harder every day, but like you can kind of still tell it looks too clean. It looks too like it looks too like the rest of them. Like there's like this quality of like perfection that isn't human, and that devalues AI art, right? Like you don't want to draw that perfect. Like you can't. You have to make a mistake somewhere. Like that's how this works. Like that's what makes your style you. That's what makes everything you do you. Like your imperfections are you. And that's what people want. That we want to see your struggles. We want to see sketches. We want to see like your voice. We want to see your ugly phase. Like that's what we want to see. And I think that AI art is like the epitome of not human. Like it takes no time to make. It looks way too quote unquote perfect. It Like well not even talking about the resource costs and like how it's made, but it's just like it's not it's literally just not human. And no matter how quote unquote good it gets or how many people say like this is the future, it's not. It will never be. And it's like it's nothing to be afraid of. Like it's intimidating if you're not secure in like what you're doing, which I think is a sign of like, okay, well, like, why do you draw? And if it's like I draw because I want to make money, it's like, okay, you're in the wrong field. Get a just do anything. Literally work at McDonald's, you'll make more money. You know what I mean? Like commissions and you know getting gigs. Like I think that that's like the goal, right? But in the meantime, like if you're looking to make money, don't be an artist. Like that's not how this works. You're an artist because that's what you're born to be, you know? Like that's what we do. Like even if we're stuck in a cave or a winter village with no Wi-Fi and there's no one talking to us because we're snowed in, we will still draw anyway. That's what it means to be an artist. Like you live to express, you know? And AI art can't do that. It will never do that. And it's like the only people who would be endorsing and buying AI are people who don't care about art anyways. Like they never cared about art and they never will. So losing those kinds of people who are interested in like trying to scam you or trying to bully you and so or whatever, it's like okay, good riddance. Like we've finally drew a dividing line of people who only care about the product and who people who care about the process, right? And I think that's a good thing. Like it's weird and it's awkward and it's really annoying to deal with people who are like, I can generate something better than you can. It's like, okay, go ahead, bro. Like that's fine. I'm not I want to draw. I enjoy doing it. I like spending time drawing, you know? So it's just, I just want to get that off my chest. I feel like I'm not really a public guy, nor do I like share my opinions to this level ever. But I just want to put on record that like I think that everything you do has value. I think that every line you draw is a step towards greatness. I think that finding communities that encourage you, that celebrate you and what you're doing and like how far you've come, like that's really important. I used to draw alone for like at least 3 of the years I was drawing. And I'm more introverted anyway, but even then I still felt like I wanted, a little bit of validation or some kind of sign that like I was improving, and like eventually I started branching out, started like making a YouTube account and stuff like that, and like I started finding my people, and like now sharing my art with like the 30 or so people in my Discord or whatever. It's really nice. Like it's amazing. And I think that's another thing too. Social media. It's like I think that at one point social media as an artist anyway or a creative anyway, it was very cool to like be able to post your art and like people who would want to see it usually can find it. But nowadays, especially with like the AI bots and like the basically like just repost accounts and AI accounts or whatever, it's like, I don't think social media is it, you know? I don't think like if you think that you're gonna post art and one day some art guru is gonna find you and be like, we want you specifically to, make our advertisements for like this waifu game simulator. It's like that can happen, but chances are much lower than what it used to be. Like chances are exponentially lower. And if you have a small following or whatever, like you have to be really damn good, in my opinion, or get really, really, really lucky. Not something I would bank my entire career on. So I do think that like having, for me personally, that I've noticed, sharing my art with like 30 people and getting like just like interactions with people I care or that I've come to respect or I enjoy being with, online anyway, it to me it feels much more fulfilling than being like you know having 100,000 subscribers, getting like bot comments or getting like two comments because you grew too fast without building a community. So I just think that a lot of the struggles we have as artists are kind of self-made. I do think that we give a lot of things power that we really shouldn't. I do think that at the end of the day, like draw and get better or don't and stay stagnant. Like, of course, there's a lot of nuance in between, but ultimately, like, you have to practice something to get better. So that's just kind of how it goes. But that's my opinions. Of course, I'm still kind of new, and these are just my personal experiences. I think art means something different for everybody. I think we all have different journeys. So if you guys have other points to make or things that you disagree with or things you do agree with or personal stories, I'd love to see it in the comments. Either way, thanks for listening. I hope you guys have a great day.